Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chiller Files, and let's be honest, we all know what time it is. It's spooky season. While everyone else is out there picking out the perfect pumpkin spice latte, I'm digging deep into the dark side of Halloween. Welcome to a spine-chilling journey through some of the most terrifying horrors that have unfolded on Halloween night. These true stories will leave you questioning the safety of this seemingly innocent holiday. So grab your candy corn, dim the lights, and get ready to be spooked because things are about to get real creepy real fast. You ready? Let's get started. Our first story takes us back to the 1970s, a time when the world seemed a little less safe, and two names sent shivers down everyone's spines: Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, the Toolbox Killers. These guys were the stuff of nightmares. They preyed on young women, picking them up while they were hitchhiking, and their calling card, a toolbox full of instruments designed for one thing: torture. On Halloween night 1979, Bittaker and Norris were on the prowl again. 16-year-old Shirley Ledford was at a party, but decided to head home. She was last seen alive, getting into a van that matched the description of the one belonging to Bittaker and Norris. Days later, Shirley's body was found on a stranger's lawn. The police report was horrifying, detailing the gruesome torture she endured at the hands of the Toolbox Killers. The brutality of the crime shocked even the most seasoned detectives. Bittaker and Norris were eventually caught and brought to justice. Their reign of terror was over, but the memory of their crimes, especially their Halloween horror, continues to haunt us.
Our next story takes us to the heart of every parent's worst nightmare. It's Halloween night, 1974, in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Pasadena, Texas. Kids are dressed up in costumes, their bags overflowing with candy. Among them is 8-year-old Timothy O'Brien, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Timothy's dad, Ronald, walks beside him, a seemingly proud father enjoying the festivities. But Ronald is harboring a dark secret, a plan so twisted it would make your blood run cold. As they make their way home, Ronald offers Timothy a Pixie Stix, a popular Halloween candy.
Here you go, son. Enjoy this Pixie Stix.
Timothy, unsuspecting and full of childish innocence, eagerly accepts. What he doesn't know is that his father has laced the candy with cyanide, a deadly poison. Within minutes, Timothy starts feeling sick. He complains of stomach cramps, and soon he's vomiting uncontrollably. Panic sets in as Ronald rushes his son to the hospital, but it's too late. Timothy O'Brien dies on the way, a victim of his own father's greed and depravity. Ronald had taken out a life insurance policy on his son, hoping to cash in on his death. The police, suspicious of the circumstances surrounding Timothy's death, launched an investigation. They soon uncovered Ronald's financial troubles and his life insurance scam. Ronald O'Brien was arrested, charged with the murder of his son, and eventually sentenced to death. Ronald O'Brien's crime cast a long shadow over Halloween, forever changing the way parents viewed the holiday.
Our next story takes us to the seemingly peaceful suburbs of Sun Valley, California in 1957. Halloween night is winding down. The streets are quiet, the jack-o'-lanterns are starting to dim, and most of the trick-or-treaters are safely tucked in their beds. Inside their cozy home, Peter and Betty Fabiano are settling in for the night. They've turned off the porch light, signaling the end of their candy-giving duties, but someone didn't get the memo. A few minutes later, the doorbell rings. Peter, a little annoyed but still in the Halloween spirit, decides to answer it. As he opens the door, he's greeted not by a costumed child but by a woman in a mask. Before he can even register what's happening, the woman pulls out a gun and shoots him at point-blank range. Betty rushes to the door, only to find her husband lying in a pool of blood. The masked assailant is gone, vanished into the night like a phantom. The murder sends shockwaves through the community. The police uncover a tale of betrayal, infidelity, and cold-blooded murder. Betty Fabiano, Ralph Rebel, and Joan Rebel were all found guilty and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. The murder of Peter Fabiano is a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk just beneath the surface. Our next case takes us to the affluent streets of Greenwich, Connecticut, where a shadow fell over the privileged community on Halloween 1975. 15-year-old Martha Moxley, a popular and bright girl, was found brutally murdered, her life taken in a flurry of rage. The murder weapon? a golf club shattered beyond repair discovered near her lifeless body. The image of Martha, a young life cut tragically short, sent ripples of fear and anger through the community. The investigation quickly focused on the Skakel family, neighbors of Martha. Specifically, suspicion fell upon Thomas Skakel, who had been with Martha the night she vanished. But the case was far from simple. Thomas's brother, Michael Skakel, also came under scrutiny. Rumors and whispers swirled, fueled by conflicting accounts and a sense that someone, somewhere, knew more than they were letting on. Years turned into decades, and the case remained cold. Then, in a stunning turn of events, Michael Skakel was arrested and charged with Martha's murder. Despite a lack of physical evidence directly linking Michael to the crime, the prosecution presented a case based on circumstantial evidence and witness testimony. They painted a picture of a troubled young man fueled by jealousy and rage, who had committed a horrific act. The defense, however, argued that Michael was innocent, a victim of a flawed investigation and a rush to judgment. They pointed to other potential suspects, including a group of teenagers who had been in the area the night of the murder. In the end, the jury sided with the prosecution. Michael Skakel was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. After serving over a decade behind bars, Michael was granted a new trial in 2013. The judge ruled that his original defense attorney had provided inadequate representation, potentially impacting the outcome of the case. In 2018, the Connecticut Supreme Court vacated Michael's conviction, citing errors in the original trial. The state ultimately decided not to retry Michael Skakel. On October 30th, 2020, almost 45 years to the day after Martha Moxley's murder, the case came to an end. The Martha Moxley murder serves as a reminder that even in the most idyllic of settings, evil can lurk, and sometimes the truth remains elusive. Our final story takes us to the bustling streets of Manhattan on Halloween night, 1981. The city is alive with the energy of the holiday. Costumed revelers fill the streets, their laughter echoing through the night. But in a quiet corner of the Upper West Side, a chilling scene unfolds, one that remains shrouded in mystery to this day. Ronald Sisman, a 39-year-old photographer known for his artistic talent and kind demeanor, is preparing for a Halloween party. He's excited to celebrate with friends and colleagues, unaware that this night will be his last. Joining Ronald for the festivities is 20-year-old Elizabeth Platzman, a bright and ambitious college student with a promising future ahead of her. As the evening progresses, Ronald and Elizabeth decide to leave the party early, eager to continue their conversation and enjoy the crisp autumn air. They step out into the night, their laughter fading into the background noise of the city. That's the last time anyone sees them alive. Days turn into weeks, and concern for Ronald and Elizabeth's whereabouts grows into agonizing fear. Their families, desperate for answers, contact the police, and a missing persons investigation is launched. The police retrace Ronald and Elizabeth's steps, but the trail runs cold. The investigation takes a grim turn when Ronald's apartment is found unlocked and undisturbed. His camera equipment, a prized possession for any photographer, is untouched. Weeks later, the unthinkable happens. Two bodies are discovered in a shallow grave on the outskirts of the city. The remains are identified as Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Platzman. Despite an extensive investigation, the double homicide of Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Platzman remains unsolved. And there you have it, 5 terrifying true crime stories that prove Halloween isn't all about costumes and candy. These stories are a stark reminder that Halloween, while often filled with fun and festivities, can also harbor dark and terrifying secrets. Stay safe and always be aware of your surroundings. Don't forget to like this video if you're brave enough, and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories.